The variable geometry reciprocator is a three-piece piston pin and connecting rod which replaced the traditional components. This fundamental change in engine theory offers the designer a wider range of rod ratios. The designer can choose rod ratios near 3:1 or greatly increase the stroke while maintaining the original ratio. This is accomplished by causing the upper connecting rod bearing to follow an arcuate track which pivots above the crown of the piston. This gives the benefits of installing longer rods without the increase in weight and deck height. The VGR design offers all of the behavior benefits of much higher rod ratios. Observe the difference in piston speed as both approach and retreat from top dead center. Due to the offset of the stock rod on the left, at 90 degrees the difference is 65 thousandths on one side and 80 thousandths on the other side. This configuration of the Vigor design has no offset. These are the parts for the variable geometry reciprocator. The pistons are made from 2618 heat-treated aluminum. They were turned and milled on CNC centers from 3 5/8 inch bar stock. The pinholes were cut with a wire-feed electric discharge machine, or EDM. The bottoms of the pin bosses were shaped by die sinking with a carbon electrode EDM. The pins are made from a general purpose tool steel, heat treated to Rockwell 60. The entire pin is machined by a wire feed EDM. The clearance between pin and piston is cut to 3/10,000ths. The wire feed finish on aluminum is similar to fine glass bead blasting. After polishing pin and piston, the finished fit is about 6/10,000ths. The rods are made from 4140 chrome moly, heat treated to Rockwell 32. The outside profiles were rough cut on the wire feed EDM. Then they were finished on a traditional mill. The Vigor hole is cut on a wire feed EDM. Each surface is cut for a 1/1000th interference fit. The entire hole is a 2/1000th interference fit. The rod caps are original equipment. They are balanced and the sharp corners are filed smooth. All of the parts are highly polished to eliminate stress risers. This is the #1 Vigor rod and piston after 650 miles. Carbon has been cleaned off. Less than 2/10 is worn off the skirt in the shiny areas. The strange wear pattern is due to a 0.5 dip in the skirt. The machinist cut the ellipse prior to cutting the inside of the piston. These are the parts of the variable geometry reciprocator after 73,000 miles. 63,000 miles were driven as a commercial vehicle for Courier Express in Atlanta. You'll notice the complete lack of wear on the pin. Polished areas haven't changed since installation. You can see the varnish where there's been no contact. You can see the pressure points where the interference fit rod was holding the pin. The pins did not walk. You can see the leading and trailing edges, the varnish. These slight little lines, they're not quite visible on the video, are from the wire feed EDM machine. They're about 100,000ths in depth. The pins came cleanly out of the rod so they can be reused. The discoloration is from heating them up to about 950 degrees for installation. It took 5 to 6 tons of pressure to remove them. They're virtually gall-free, so they can be reused. This is the number 2 piston. There's virtually no wear. There's no detectable wear in the pinholes. You can see the areas of varnish and shiny contact. The vigor pin and piston are functioning just as a journal bearing does. See the areas of contact and the areas where there's varnish. But there's not the slightest ridge, not the slightest wear mark. In fact, they don't even look broken in. Now for the skirts. This is the number 2 piston. The areas of no contact are about a ½ shallow due to the machinist cutting the skirt before he cut the inside of the piston. There's about a 1/4 thousandths wear here, about a 1/2 thousandths, and 1/1000th from here to here, 1/1000th from here to here, so it's slightly barrel faced, much less wear than expected. The bore was worn only 3/1000ths of an inch. Two-thousandths of the bore wear was on the thrust side, 1/1000ths on the other side. This is the number 2 vigor pin, piston, and rod after 20,000 miles. This is the vigor pin, piston, and rod after 93,000 miles. It has been reconfigured for its 3rd installation. Originally, the skirt diameter was 3.520. After 73,000 miles, it was trimmed to 3.518. Now the skirts are 3.512. This area has been relieved 5 to 7 thousandths so that it will function as a slipper piston. 200 thousandths has been removed from the skirt tang. 100 thousandths has been removed from the lower pin boss. 200 thousandths of width has been removed from the lower pin bosses. The area under the upper pin boss has been relieved 1 inch by a 1/4 inch. The rods have also been lightened by removing 25 thousandths of material from the 3 surfaces. The first vigor pin, piston, and rod was 65 grams heavier than the original. This will be reinstalled at 5 grams lighter than the original. This is the vigor pin, piston, and rod after 2,100 miles. Connecting rod in this one appears bent. That's just a distortion on the video camera. You can see the very shiny areas of contact for the skirt. You can see the ring. The top ring is a chrome ring. Took a long time to break in. You can see that thin break-in line, the carbon that passed during the meantime. You can see an area of contact on the side of the skirt that wasn't relieved quite as much as I had hoped. The pinhole area is quite shiny and smooth. No wear marks, just shine from break-in. On this side you can see where this is the thrust side, you can see where the top piston ring land was not quite as small as it should have been. That'll be relieved before going back in. For more information and to help plan the future of the variable geometry reciprocator, please contact me at the following address.